Hey everybody, welcome to episode 32 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh, and we've got a great show for you guys today. We've got 4 different houses that we're going to feature, and we've got a special guest. You may have seen him if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We've kind of alluded. If not, sit back and get ready to be shocked.
So you want to jump right into property?
We've got a great one. It's 10823 Pagewood Place.
Yep. Pagewood Place is a really great little cul-de-sac neighborhood that's right off of Bodecker and south of Royal. It is a couple of blocks away from a nice little park, super conveniently located, right off of Highway 75. You're not very far from the Northwood Trail, which we all know ties us right into heading over to the east. You can get right into the White Rock Trail heading to the west. They have connected that, I believe, all the way over to, it's all the way over well past Marsh Lane, and then it turns south. And anyway, it's a great access point, whether you're on cars, bikes, scooters, whatever you might be.
And Pagewood Place is actually a cul-de-sac, and this one actually backs up to a creek. So if you're looking for something that has the privacy both from the street and from the back neighbors, this is a really good option for you. One of the things about this house is this house was built in '79, and what makes it kind of unique is the way that it's positioned on the lot, because the front of the house doesn't reveal itself very much to the front and to the street, but what it's done is the architects designed it so that the back of the house actually opens up completely from the master 1, master 2, and the living room and kitchen to the outside. So right here you can see there are 6 windows right there, and those are the only 6 windows that actually face the front of the house and give it a really nice walk up.
Yeah, and you can have complete and total privacy there with the way the blinds are set. But if you open it up, you really do get this really great warm feeling as you walk up to the home. 22-foot ceilings in it. It has the knotty pine or knotty oak beadboard ceiling in it that really just kind of wraps this level of warmth around that living room to me.
And one of the things that they have left and that's kind of original, that 70s style, is the rock fireplace. And this is actually a stacked fireplace, and it actually takes the entire wall, and it's done so well. That's a great shot of that one right there. And the way that the windows actually bring the outdoor in, they've spent tons and tons of time on this house and making it indoor-outdoor friendly. So we'll talk about that in a second, but one of the great things about this floor plan is that this is a dual master, so it's perfect for a multi-generational family. Master and bedrooms 3 and 4 are on one side, and off of the kitchen area is where you're going to find the other master bathroom. And this master bathroom is currently set up as an office and a library, and it's fully functional with its own walkout onto the patio, and it has a really great private bathroom as well that isn't skimping at all. Complete walk-in, separate shower tub. It's wonderful.
It's a great space, and you can come into this house and be really on pretty much on one level in there with your kitchen, your dining room, part of the living area, and that one bedroom. And the kitchen has been done beautifully, and custom cabinetry was done. They have this a really unique etched glass that they have used through a lot of the places in the home that really tie into the black granite. 6-burner cooktop. It has really top-of-the-line appliances.
Yep. And outside, one of the great things about this one is that when you open up, there's a deck that's off of the living room and off of the second master. And that actually is terraces down to this pool. And this pool is a saltwater pool that has, nope, not a saltwater pool, but has a 4,000 BTU heater. So you can use this pool year round. It also has a great outdoor dining and additional seating around this. And this is the second house that we've actually had. This one actually has an enormous bocce court that's lit up. So great for using it as night and during the day.
Yeah, and it sits on a creek that as you walk toward the back edge of the bocce court, you kind of look down into the creek bed, and it's fenced off very nicely. It's got a lot of privacy from the neighborhood. There are really, I think, 4 outdoor living spaces in this. And
I agree with that.
5 really if you count the wine room.
Yeah. I think it's a wine room is what it's set up. There it is.
There it is, yeah.
But for me, I think this would be a great chicken coop.
Yeah.
But we can't get anybody to bite on that one. So.
Yeah, the rest of the house, the master bedroom is done just beautifully, and again, they've used the really large windows that open up to this wonderfully. This is a shot of the second master bedroom, which is great. Weston was just telling you about the double doors that open up out onto the patio there. They use this as a library / office right now. It also has the skylights in it. And, this house has, the roof was redone on this house about 4 years ago, completely redone. And many of those skylights had been installed just a couple of years prior to the hailstorm that caused that to be replaced. And when they did it, when they replaced the roof, they actually replaced all of those skylights as well. So the top of that roof is in a really great condition.
This is a really interesting house, set up perfectly for any amount of art, and this owner has quite a bit of it. So if you're interested in a house that's over in the North Dallas area, this would be a great one to take in. Give us a call. Jeff had it open this weekend and had about 30 people through.
30 groups of people.
30 groups
yeah,
through.
It was
quite a busy open house.
Yeah, a lot of interest in it. It's priced at $1,070,000, which is brings it in about $275 a square foot, 3,900 square feet of really just pure, I think, 70s contemporary updated bliss.
This is a great one. So if you'd like to any more information about this or would like to swing by and take a look at it, please give us a call. We'll be happy to help you.
Absolutely.
The next one that we're going to go over to is going to be 7307 Robin Road. And so this is actually taking us to the other side of the toll road, the west side, but just by a little bit off of Inwood. And this is a great area, isn't it, Jeff?
It really is. It's an area that I've been very, very familiar with for a long time, yeah. And it is walking distance to Inwood Village. It is half a block from the Tom Thumb store, which used to be the Simon David grocery store. It is, a 2-block walk from the true Greenway Parks. We've heard about the neighborhood.
Right.
There is a real Greenway park. And the access with this home to Love Field, as you can see, is instantaneous. You can be from, your doorstep to a gate in about 10 minutes. But this has such great access to DFW. I mean, it is a 20 to 20 minute drive to DFW. So, if you travel for business, great location to be in.
And I'm always concerned. I'll always talk about the grocery stores, and this one has great grocery stores. Tom Thumb is just literally around the corner, and then there's a short walk if you wanted to go to Trader Joe's over in Inwood Village. And Inwood Village also has Flower Child, which is a great restaurant if you're looking for healthy.
Yeah, Inwood Village has really kind of come into its adulthood over the last 5 to 7 years, and I mean everything that Inwood Village is on the south side of Lover's Lane. That the north side of the street is not truly Inwood Village, but they've really turned that into an Inwood Village style set of restaurants and nail places, and just your favorite Mexican restaurants there.
I know.
So,
all of them. Yeah. That's the one. So this home is going to be a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. It's 4,200 square feet. And we can't really say that it's new construction, but it was built in 2016. And this is actually built in the vein of what we're seeing a lot more construction come into. So this is one of the houses that really spoke to me. Its indoor outdoor is amazing. The way that the house flows and is laid out, I loved everything about their furnishings and their art, and it all just kind of tied together. It has a little bit of a masculine feel, but then could kind of go either direction. The kitchen was laid out amazingly. It was at the heart of the home, so it wasn't like first walk in when you see the house, and it ties in the kitchen, this amazing covered outdoor space, and then again you see that really great living room that's right there.
Yeah, the floor plan on this I thought was really unique because
It was awesome.
you with many of this style of construction, you walk in and everything opens up there right to you. And this one has a little bit of a different feel because you walk in and there's a small kind of a vestibule there, and the staircase goes up to the right with a switchback, and it's the floating stairs, which we see usually in much more expensive homes than this one. And you have to kind of go around the corner to get into the kitchen. And then you see this incredible outdoor space that mixes covered and uncovered space. It is right off the kitchen, so being able to step outside and do your barbecue is amazing.
It is perfectly laid out as far as even outdoor. They've put the lights in that go back and forth. So if you're familiar with the Meat Casino in Lakewood, it's lights like that really kind of add the value. Even if you're not out there, you would really enjoy looking at those and it kind of warming the house while you're in the living room. Downstairs, right now they're using it as a gym, but it also could be used as another bedroom.
A second master, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, again, have a house that's multi-generational. We're seeing that become more and more popular today. Upstairs is where the main master is. Really great sized master bedroom with additional great space. This is the lighting picture that'll kind of show you how that indoor-outdoor works so well in this house. Bedrooms are perfectly laid out. Bathrooms, well done, oversized. Everything that you want is in this house in the way that they've set it up.
Master in the upstairs is on the back side of the house. This is the guest room on the front of the house with its own private bathroom, and just again laid out it's a very popular style of layout, but it's laid out in such a unique way that I can't say I've ever seen this floor plan before.
We haven't. And one of the other things too about this house that I really liked is, newer construction is always more energy efficient. And one of the last things that kind of dictates energy efficiency would be how much yard do you have to maintain? How much watering is there? And they've gone ahead and done a lot of xeriscaping with the crushed granite here, and then also the way that they've landscaped it with the plants that are native to this area. So if you're looking for a home that has that contemporary but doesn't have that soulless, super hard, this is a really good concept for you.
Yeah, it is, and a little over 4,200 square feet. It actually feels cozier than that. It's laid, you've got the full 4,200 to use. It's priced at $1,195,000, and that brings this one in at about $284 a square foot. And we want to say thank you to Melissa O'Brien for letting us talk about her home today.
Great home, Melissa. It is a treat. The next one that we're going to jump over to is going to be 10811 Royal Park Drive. This is a really great area of Dallas. Again, we're kind of back over in where Pagewood was, just a little bit close to it. So a lot of the things that we talked about, what you would be close to in Pagewood, would pertain to this one. So if you weren't, you would know that you're close to a lot of the schools. So if you're looking for private schools, there's a great set of private schools in here. The great thing on this one is that you also have access to 75 and to 635. If you were commuting to TI, this would actually be a good possibility if you didn't want to go further north into Richardson.
True.
So things to think about on that one. Also, if you're looking for the different hospitals, you've got Olive Presby at Walnut Hill. And if you look just a little further up above, you've got Dallas Medical City right there.
Yep. And this home is really just an interesting layout. It does go, it's kind of a U-shaped home that wraps around this really incredible pool. It is kind of a two-story home, story and a half or so, and the 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. The living room ceiling there shows one of the unique views of this home. You've got a garage that goes down the left-hand side, but you've got parking there. And this is on another little cul-de-sac right off of Royal Lane, but it is tucked back up onto the back of the cul-de-sac where you don't have the exposure to the noise or any of the things that come along with living on Royal Lane. Again, you've got the 22-foot ceilings. This one's got a brick fireplace in it with the big 2-story windows on both sides and just a tremendous amount of morning light. This part of the house faces east northeast, and I can imagine that at 8 o'clock in the morning on a sunny day that living room is just bathed in light.
Now, even though this house was built in 1983, the architects really took a nod to mid-century modern and also 70s contemporary. And the way that they've split the levels, raised the ceilings, and given it that butterfly roofline, and also the arcade when you approach. Now, this home has really interesting kitchen because they've actually moved the kitchen down a couple of steps off of the dining room, not attached to the living room. But what they've done is actually created this kitchen that is an indoor-outdoor for everything that is outdoor. It's got a great pool in the way that it's set up in a U. It actually just becomes this extra part of what the outdoor living is. It's a really light, bright, lots of good eating space for eat-in kitchen when you're not outside. So it just kind of has that great flow. The windows go back and forth on this one, so you're able to always have a view of what's outside. It really is a house that is centric around the outdoor pool and what is in the backyard. There's a really great shot when you go into the master bathroom on this one that I thought was so unique. The master bathroom was a really large, separate vanities setup with a great walk-in closet. But one of the coolest things about this one is the way that tub is situated. The tub is actually set so that it actually is adjacent to a window, and then it also has skylighting above it. So you get this really almost picturesque frame. This to me almost looks like if you were looking at one of those commercials for a spa resort, this would be it. But this is actually the house. One of the other things they've done to increase the actual outdoor living space off of the kitchen is added electric louver pergola. So this is an example of it right here where it actually can open up to allow more light, and then it can close in the middle of the day to get rid of some of that. One of the things that we liked about this one too is because it was actually on a cul-de-sac, the actual back of the house opens up a little more like this and allows you to have additional space. So it's not just all pool, it's a great size pool, but if you needed space for, if you wanted to do gardening, if you needed to have a jungle gym set, if you needed to have a dog run, you have all the extra space in this house that you need.
Yep, this was a really great property, and again, 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath, just under 5,200 square feet, which makes this a really great deal, priced at $179 a square foot. That's a price of $924,500, and we wanted to say thank you to Sharon Red for letting us talk about her home today.
And Megan Stern. Thank you so much, ladies. We really appreciate the house. Now, one of the last ones we're going to swing into is going to be 1401 Chesapeake Drive. And Chesapeake Drive is going to take us further north. So this is going to be a little bit out of where we normally are. This is in Plano. It's a great house. It just came on the market. I believe last Thursday is when we brought this one on the market. Jan Fulmer is the one that represents this one. And this is just a little bit north of the George Bush, but it's not actually on any of the major highways, which is one of the things that we kind of look at. This is actually a corner lot inside of this neighborhood. It is a really great area. We hadn't even had it on the market, and we're already receiving phone calls about this one. As far as this one goes, this is a 3 or 4 bedroom, depending on how you set it up. It is a 2.5 bath, 3,047 square feet, built in 1992. And this one can actually be a 4 or be a 3, depends on what you do with the upstairs space, but it still downstairs has a study, so it's not like you had to like give away that, and a lot of times what we call it 3 or 4.
Yeah, the 3 or 4, yeah.
This right here is a really good example of what the living room looks like with the additional detailing in the ceiling, and then also the built-ins throughout. Plantation shutters in this one actually add a really good value to the home on this one. Master is going to be down on this one, which makes it pretty useful as far as those who may not always want to be trotting upstairs or need a little bit of privacy from the rest of the scenario. Upstairs you have bedrooms 2, 3, the 4th, and then also a landing. So there's a lot of space on this one. Great thing about this one too is it has a really nice sized yard as well.
And one of these, there was one of those rooms that is 32 foot
I know. So
long. So it really, it's just an amazing size for a room. And here you can see the yard. This was, we think our research shows that this was the developer's personal home in the subdivision. And so it, in many cases, they always have more renovations or more upgrades to them. They have a little better insulation. They, the builder themselves do more just to be able to because they can.
Yep. And just to kind of solidify, it is that extra room is 32 by 10. So if you're looking for a house that is in Shepherd's Glen, this is a really great option for you.
Yeah, and this is one of the least expensive homes in that neighborhood.
Yep.
And it's priced at $499, which brings it in about $163 a square foot. And we want to say thank you to Jan Fulmar for letting us talk about her home today.
Yep. So if these are the houses that you find interesting or would like more information about them, or even if there's a house that's in your neighborhood that you'd like more information on, give us a call. If you've got a friend or a family member that's looking to sell their house, we'd love to be in touch with them as well. So
Yep.
That concludes first segment.
Yeah.
So Jeff, now's the time that we have a special guest, and tell us a little bit about what's going to happen in that second segment.
Well, I have the honor of talking to Heath Schneider, who is a senior escrow officer with Lawyers Title, and it is the Latham Pugh's office. And so I would like to say, welcome, Heath.
Well, thank you for having me. As you know, when I found out my buddy Jeremy Radcliffe was invited and I wasn't, I was a little jealous, I'll have to admit, but better late than never. So
That's right.
Thank you for having me.
Heath and I have known each other for a really long time. We've gone through leadership class together like Jeremy and I did, or we all three were in the same class, and Crew 22. And I think, my perception of that is that we still have one of the closest groups of people that went through leadership that have still remained friends, because, there's you and I and Jeremy and Tamara, and we still all connect on a regular basis. So
Very much so. It was a great experience, and getting to know you and Weston over the years has been phenomenal. So.
we've enjoyed it. So we asked you to come today to talk about title and the title industry. And so why not, let's just start off. Tell people what is title policy?
Well, title insurance or title policy basically is it's protection for the new homeowner as well as the lender in regards to any potential financial losses or ownership issues that may arise after closing for the new owners.
Okay. And does everyone get this when they buy a home?
Well, it is. It's not mandatory to. Obviously, you can purchase a home and you don't have to have it. But if a lender is involved, they are definitely going to require that you have so. And I would never, ever, ever advise anyone not to get a policy. I mean, it's the benefit far outweighs the cost, and so it's something that I think that everybody should have.
Mm-hmm. And how do y'all determine what the cost of a title policy is?
Well, in the state of Texas, as opposed to certain other states, we actually are regulated by the Texas Department of Insurance. So what that means to the consumer is that in regards to a title policy, as long as that policy is of equal cost or equal pricing, so let's say a $300,000 home in Dallas, you're going to pay for the same policy, whether it be Dallas, Houston, Austin, anywhere in the state of Texas, that policy is going to cost the same.
Okay.
So,
and so let's talk about some of those other costs that are associated, because, a lot of times when, people first start talking to Jeremy, he's the first one that really kind of goes through some of the numbers with buyers. How do closing costs kind of fit in with what y'all do?
Sure. Well, on the title side, obviously the policy is going to be your main cost, but besides that, most title companies do not have many other costs associated to it, because we serve two roles, one being the escrow or settlement company and the other being the title insurance company. Oftentimes a title company will charge what's referred to as an escrow or closing fee, and that's the fee that a small fee that's charged to actually perform our duties as the settlement company. And then our attorneys in turn will also have a small fee that they'll charge for creating the documents that we require to be signed. Besides that, you don't see too many other administrative fees. Some title companies will charge courier fees, copy fees, and so forth. We personally do not do so.
Mm-hmm. And, I think that's one of the things that we like about working with you is many times we feel like there's not the, I'm going to call it the nickel and dime approach to all of that. And, everybody has different structures for what they do. We kind of like the way that y'all handle that with people.
Appreciate
it. Who pays for title policy?
Well, per the contract, if you look at that, it does show that that is negotiable. So either party, the seller or buyer can pay for that. But what we see as a rule of thumb is oftentimes the seller will pay for the owner's title policy. And the logic there seems to be that the seller in conveying their property wants to make sure that they're conveying a clean title as well. And so therefore, they're going to incur that cost up front to do so. And so that's a one-time cost that they'll pay for. And in turn, anytime a loan is in place, the lender is also going to have a policy that they're going to require. And because of the fact that the loan is being obtained by the borrower/buyer, that's usually paid for by the buyer as well.
Okay. So how does, I guess, so all of this, you do a lot of the research work, and y'all look through county records and look for chain of ownership and things like that. And this all kind of comes to a point where we're going to go to a closing one day. What is, what are some of the things that people can do to kind of prepare for closing and that you see helps them in the long run?
Sure. I think the key for during the process, once the contract is executed and up until the time that we actually close it, the key is responsiveness and communication. I think what we do is, as you mentioned, we will search records. We will look for any issues that may arise with liens, encumbrances, abstracts of judgments, and so forth. And oftentimes we'll find that there will be something that will show up on our title search that may not actually involve the seller of record, but because of a similar name, then that will show up, and we're required as the escrow officers to make sure that those are removed and cleared up. So in doing so, that communication is key. At the beginning of the process, once we receive the contract and start the title search, we will send out a seller information sheet or a buyer information sheet to the parties, ask that they provide some pertinent information that helps us as we move along through the process. And in getting that back and just communicating with the agents, that's number one.
And we have seen that before. I think as realtors, there was a point where, we were kind of hesitant to give up all that information about our clients. And, as we've realized how big a difference that makes for y'all to be able to talk to people and communicate, we try to be in the mode where the minute we execute a contract, oh, here's their info, so.
And, my personal opinion is that we want to make your job as the realtor as easy as possible. And so we want to be able to build that rapport with this buyer seller. And this is our first, we don't have near as much time with them as the realtors do, or even the lender does. So what we want to do is try to build that rapport and be able to work with them, always including the realtor, but trying to make their job as easy as possible. We want to not burden them. They've got enough on their hands. And so, and again, oftentimes they don't even necessarily know what is going on behind the scenes in regards to the title. And so we will always work with the buyer and seller, but the key is to keep the realtors in the loop as well so that they know what's going on.
And who do y'all represent in the transaction?
I would say technically we represent everyone. We consider ourselves kind of the hub in the transaction. Once we receive that contract, we are going to work directly with all parties within the transaction. And in doing so, we want to keep everybody on equal footing, and we want to make sure we treat everybody fairly and equally. We are a third party, but like I said, we want to treat everybody equally and just make sure that the process goes smooth for all parties.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we really like about working with you and your team is you have a really good ability to sit down and sit across from the table with somebody that you have never met before and still connect with them and tell them what is about to happen and walk them through that process. And we've seen some where people walk in with you and they just start signing everything, and then we've had some where they sit down and they're reading everything.
Well, and I think the key in that scenario is I think as the realtor, you want to work with a title company and escrow officer specifically who can read your client, because they're all different, as we well know. And you do have the investor types that don't need you to explain everything, but at the same time, you also are going to have your first-time home buyers or maybe your more type A personalities, and you want to make sure that you don't rush them or that you give them the information that's needed, because this is their last step for the home buyer and the seller during this process. And so if they remember nothing else about the entire process that they just went through, they're going to remember what happened at closing. And so we always want to represent the realtors and the lenders as best as possible in that regard.
That's, I truly agree with that. It's kind of the culmination of a lot of stress sometimes because, most real estate transactions are wrapped around stressful times in people's lives. It's birth, it's death, it's marriage, it's divorce, it's kids being born, it's, kids moving away. There's a lot of ancillary stuff that goes on, and you do a really good job with that. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
So, well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Always.
Really appreciate the time and keep doing a great job. We love it.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
So Heath's contact information is up on the screen, and if you have any questions about title or anything about the process that you want to reach out to him on, please feel free to do so. He'd be happy to talk to you.
So we had a great turnout of everybody online. We appreciate all the comments. Thanks so much, Patty, Creighton, Casey, Christina, and Ashley. We appreciate you guys jumping in and showing Heath some love. If this looks like something that you'd be interested in doing, if you've got a great topic you want to hear us bring on the subject on the show, let us know. Going live is not difficult. Heath did a great job. He jumped in and with one run through was able to get this knocked out.
Yep.
So if this is something you want to do, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, thank you again for tuning in with us today. We've had a great time. Episode number 31 in the
31 in the can.
So reach out to us in a variety of ways. Certainly go to our Facebook page, like that. We can be found on Instagram. We try to put pictures of our properties up there, some of the things that we do outside of real estate. Another way to reach us is through our website, updikepugh.com. You can set up searches there for specific homes or neighborhoods, and there's a lot of detail there about selling your home. Homeprice.fyi, go there and put a property address in, answer a couple of other questions, and you will instantly get a value on that property. And then last of all, reach out to us in the traditional ways. Call, text 214-377-2223. We'd love to talk to you.
Yep. And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.